Hi everyone, welcome to the visual guide for the Great Gubal Library Hard. This is one of 2 new dungeons made available by patch 3.4 Soul Surrender. My name is Mystek and shh, we're in a library. We begin our journey by clearing through some familiar trash mobs. You'll notice that this library seems to go on for a while. You could even say it's a multi-story building. The first boss is Demon of the Tome. Throughout the encounter, the demon will attempt to slap us with some knowledge. All of these AoE zones are pretty obvious and should be fairly easy to avoid. They often come in combos, so be ready to move quickly when necessary. Getting hit by any of these will put up a stacking vulnerability debuff on you. Frightful Roar is a point-blank AoE that should be avoided as necessary. Tanks and healers will need to watch out for Tri-Clip, which will hit the tank in quick succession. Heal and cooldown through as necessary. Continue dodging AoE while burning down the boss. Up next, more familiar trash, and then we take a look in a book to be transported to the next boss, Living Flame. To those that ran Gordius, you'll notice a few similarities here. Searing Wind will cleave anyone in front of him, and tanks need to keep him facing away from other players as much as possible. Bibliocide is a group-wide AoE blast that should be healed through as necessary. Sea of Flames will target specific players with fire eruptions. Spread out and move as necessary. Slosh will tether a specific player and do proximity-based damage through a charge from the boss to the player. If you're tethered, run to the edge and be careful not to clothesline any other players. Eventually, Living Flame will turn into either a hand or a tornado. During hand form, he'll cast Seal of Night and Day. Players will either be marked by an orange sun or blue moon seal and will need to move into the appropriate seal on the ground to avoid damage. If this is done incorrectly, you'll be debuffed with a vulnerability upstack. In tornado form, Living Flame's Bibliocide will cover the outer rim and very middle of the room with fire. Stepping into this fire will put up a fire debuff on you. Ferrofluid will mark up the player with either a plus or a minus symbol and tether them to the boss, who will also have either a plus or minus. Similar markers should move close together, while opposites should run apart. Doing this incorrectly will either pull you or blast you into the fire. Handle all of these mechanics while you continue to burn down the boss. Up next, we'll run through the fancy part of the library and come across a mini-boss that looks nothing like a panda. This guy doesn't do much other than target your black mage as soon as they put down ley lines with a large AoE. Dodge this as necessary. The last boss is Strix. When checkout is cast, Strix will pull down specific books that we'll use to counteract upcoming mechanics. These will show up on the platform as round AoEs. If Strix reads from a book about quakes, all players should stand in the floaty AoE circle so they are levitated out of the damage of quake. On the Properties of Darkness is a group-wide AoE blast that healers need to watch out for. Tornadoes can be countered by standing in the dark patches and being afflicted by Leaden, which will keep you from being thrown into the air and taking excess damage. If the boss turns you into an imp, you'll be susceptible to lightning damage, which she will of course cast immediately after. To avoid excess damage, wait to be turned into an imp, and then quickly run into the light blue AoE to remove your imp costume. You'll then be able to take the Thundercast without excessive damage and avoid debuffs and getting knocked down. Stepping into this puddle randomly will turn you into an imp, so avoid them when not necessary. At around 50%, she'll summon a massive book that Behemoth will crawl out of. Behemoth will do his thing and summon his meteor. Players will need to dodge his AoEs while waiting for the 2 comets to drop down. Once they're down, line of sight Behemoth by hiding behind to avoid damage from that meteor. Continue countering her book spells with the appropriate AoEs until Strix is down. And there you have it, Great Gubal Library Hard. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Up next, we'll take a walk through Zelphatal. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time.